become a mainstream story now. That poor young girl was just trying to defend herself and her 12-year-old sister, and is being basically verbally harassed by these adult migrant men. I think one of them that was arrested, after they arrested the little girl, they faced so much backlash that they went out and arrested the man, the 28-year-old invader that was accosting this 14 and 12-year-old girls. I mean, it's just a crazy story. That's an eye-opening story. If it can't wake up any any British man, I don't know what story will. I mean, but over the weekend in England, we saw that huge push of people painting the Union Jack, not the Union Jack, the flag before the Union Jack, the English flag, on all the everywhere in England. People are saying they're seeing it all across England now. Hopefully we can see that same traction pick up in Scotland. But Elon Musk, I think last night or today, within a few hours ago, he reposted the English flag in kind of, I guess, solidarity with the English people that were painting the English flag all over their country over the weekend. So, I mean, that's kind of a positive thing. I'm curious to what Dougie would think of that. So, it seems like that Overton window is shifting, and there is this call for people to take their nation back, and it's kind of pretty exciting to see that we're doing that as individual nations. We're all we're seeing this push across all Western nations for us to take our nation back. It's pretty encouraging.
Well, good morning, everybody. First, they arrest the girl and the father also. So I don't know why they arrest father, but this backlash, they release her and charge this guy for trying to to molest 12 years old girl. And Elon Musk, yeah, he's pushing now this thing, but also he posts that if you cannot come to a country and assimilate it, you don't have right to be there. But that means he just wants more Indians, that they are not assimilating. They are pushing their agenda, their religion, rules on us in our country, and it's time to go to war.
I agree. It is time to go to war. Elon Musk isn't our guy. He wants the H-1B visa in our countries and invade us with that cheap labor and the kind of cheap labor. When you yell at them, they'll just nod their head to the side. I mean, they're very subservient people. I'm sure Elon Musk enjoys them as his slaves. So he definitely isn't in support of shutting down immigration. They want to curtail immigration to certain areas. And still invade us. Just invade us more peacefully so you don't notice, because all of this hostile invasion is starting to wake up too many people. So yeah, I see. You see it as an extremely positive change, though, that we're able to communicate and get these messages across. I do wonder, and I worry that the ability to communicate and the reason they're allowing us to communicate is just to placate us and really prevent any uprising or any of that internal stint of rebellion within the population, because it is crazy that we're not seeing more uprisings across all of Western nations. It does seem like they have been able to curtail it. I mean, even in your nation, it sounds like they're invading. So I mean, it's
yeah, but yesterday they lured one Iraqi 24 years old guy to meet with this 14 years girl, and 8th graders just he went to hospital with severe injury, and now he's in custody. I hope he will be deported. So we are doing this way, lure them and then kick their ass and he went to with severe injury in hospital. They didn't put charge to these young people, but he's getting his way back home, and everybody cheering back. It's like, yeah, that's our youth. Yeah, this is the best news the whole day. Now when he go to jail, the second round will come, and all that shit. And we have big demonstration in September for this legal migration, these workers in our capital city. So I would like, if I'm there, I will go for sure. But fuck, I'm stuck here. But it's a Balkan, and the Balkan will never be conquered by Muslim. Never, never.
Yeah, it's encouraging. Eighth graders. I mean, what are those, like 12 and 13-year-olds? That's really awesome to hear the country's fighting back. I feel like what we're seeing here in America, though, is like a fake fighting back. You know, I mean, I saw a clip yesterday. It had Ron DeSantis. I mean, he may as well be Jewish at this point. He posted. I mean, he was discussing H-1B visas, and they're talking about, you know, in this time where we have people that can't even get jobs in our country, why are we still allowing this H-1B visa process at any scale? And pointing that out. I mean, why aren't we addressing every single visa? It's the H-1, you know, tech visa that's, you know, basically corporate six-figure jobs. It's the H-2B visa for farm workers. That's what that Sikh that just killed all those people in Florida was you know, legalized in on. I mean, it's the student visa, the H-1B student visas. Those need to stop. I mean, it's all the visas that they're using to invade us. It's all the nations that they're using to invade us. It's all by design, splitting it up like that, so you can't really address the problem. You shut off one avenue, there's 5 others coming. I mean, it is a strategic design. But I mean, you are seeing more negative response to it, and once we can get that negative response to H-1B visas, and then it can easily be translated over to the other different visas that they're using to invade us with.
Yeah, but Rush, this is Lotnik. He's selling United States. He's a Jew. He's care only about money, and he's always in the ears of Trump. So he's a very dangerous man for future of United States.
Yeah, I mean that clip garnered a lot of traction yesterday, and you know, as Trump is a kind of a populist, and as he sees the traction here online and sees the news commentator pundit responses to basically that traction here on Twitter, that's basically what the news has turned into today. Then you know, he saw the huge reverberations you know, against H-1B visas over the weekend, as well as the student visas, and I mean, it's becoming more and more evident. If we can make it just a daily talking point, I mean, really, it's all visas. I think we need to change that discussion. I mean, other than a tourist visa where someone has a return ticket and they have income to prove that, you know, they're not, you know, here just to seek economic refuge, you know, maybe we can have tourist visas, but other than that, I mean, we don't need any student visas right now. I don't care if it shuts down 15% of colleges in America. Our population is declining. Let's shut them down. It's nation ruining. These visa systems, and it's becoming more and more evident. I can't believe how quickly this conversation changes, you know, from basically just allow yourselves to peacefully be invaded, where now people are actually calling out all of these visa programs, from student to work to every single aspect, you know, and I mean, I think we need to increase more requirements. If you're an Indian coming in, I mean, really, there should be no Indians coming in this country. But if you're this savant that we need into this country, I mean, we need to have some sort of criteria for those type of people. There needs to be fines attributed to that for them going outside the United States to get this genius mentality. I mean, but if you look at it, none of that genius thought is coming from India. There's more people that have genius level IQ in the population of 200 million ethnic Americans than there is in the entire population of 1.6 billion Indians. There's much more if you look at the statistical means of the bell curve. So I mean, it has nothing to do with seeking workforce. This is all about replacing us, and we're all understanding that now, and it's becoming a mainstream talking point. And it's pretty encouraging. Aimless, jump in there, buddy.
Yeah, my concern with the student visas or the green cards Trump wants to stample on the diplomas, because there are 600,000 Chinese, almost 500,000 Indians on the student visas. If you get join the military with the green card, you get citizenship in a year, and you can have almost a million people spying on the U.S. government for BRICS between India and China alone, and with citizenship in a year after the green card.
Yeah. We need to shut off. I mean, we might have a big war coming, so I guess that's why they want the foreigners in our military. And I don't mind sending the foreigners to the front, the front of the killing field. But having our military be a pathway to citizenship, it's mind blowing. I remember when I was in the military, actively serving, and I found that out. I'm like, why do we have so many foreigners here? You know, and I didn't understand it. And then someone explained it to me. You get your green card expedited. The U.S. government not only will expedite your green card process, but they'll also pay for it and they'll fund it. So there's a large amount of people that come and join the military just to get their green card expedited. There's lots of people that are here illegally, and then the recruiters work with them in order to get them a legal status so they can get in and join the military. And that's how you end up with Hispanics in the military that barely speaks English, barely can speak any English whatsoever. I vividly go back in times, like jumping out of airplanes or at ranges or different things, and you try to communicate to a fellow soldier, and they literally cannot understand you. I mean, that's the military they're wanting the United States to build up, and that has to stop. We can't allow our nation's military to be filled with these invaders, especially when our country's already been invaded by 300,000 fighting age Chinese males, many of them associated with the CCP. I mean, you're not leaving China for a student visa or coming here illegally, typically with support of the CCP or the acknowledgement of the CCP. They won't let you leave that country. They have social governance scores. So, I mean, people are coming here by the direction of the CCP. We just had that Navy Chinese men sentenced, and they actually gave him life in prison for selling military secrets. I guess he was selling Navy warship plans to the Chinese for $25,000, and they arrested him and tried him and now sentenced him to life in prison. I mean, that's a long time. The guy was in his young 20s. So, I mean, now the U.S. government's going to be taking care of him for the next 60 years. I mean, we really need to start enforcing this capital punishment for traitors, because that's what he is. He invaded our nation. He got into our military. He somehow had access to our secrets in the military. Lots of people don't understand that the secret and top secret programs, classified, those programs of levels of secret they use in the military to keep people out of certain jobs. So you can't be a Chinaman and these invaders, but you're not going to have a job that requires a secret or top secret clearance. So that is the one positive thing out of it. But at the same time, you're around other people that have access, and you can compile enough classified information to have access. I assume that's where he got these warship planes that he was selling to the Chinese. But it just shows never let an invader in your midst.
Well, all these students, they are not coming to study history or art like when students from United States go to Rome or Paris to learn that. To laboratory, to high-end fields, and there is no loyalty to United States. They coming under CCP, who said you need to do this, or your family will suffer this. And if they move and right or left, they are gone. So they need to follow rules, what they told, what CCP tell them to do. And it's totally national security threat for United States. Also, all these Indian CEO of these big companies, starting from Microsoft, it's your national. And I don't know how your government doesn't understand that.
If you could like this.
Oh, they understand. they're selling us out, basically. For foreign interests. These foreign nations and these foreign interests are paying off our politicians to sell out the American people, and it's evident. But the American people are waking up at high rates. That's the reason we have to wake up our people. You can't just spurg out with 1% of the population. You have to have a large, sustainable amount of the population in order to actually really push and facilitate change. And guys, I'm seeing that change in America at a high level. That Overton window is shifting faster and faster. Random people that I throw little anecdotes at, they immediately pick them up now. I'm feeling encouraged in America that we are waking up. If we're able to continue to keep pushing by the next presidential election, Americans will be late. And that's the thing: are we going to ever get fair elections? And if we ever had a truly American first candidate, would they even allow him to enter the election? So I still don't know if we've got the option for a peaceful solution to these things without going the 1776 route. It's still that compiling of our people and compiling of that sentiment and waking up enough of our people to where that next step is moving forward. So it's encouraging. There's room to be optimistic. All the negative things that we're faced with Trump being completely beholden to Israel, all the memes I see of him, falcating a Netanyahu. Trump's seeing those too. It's got to be pretty damaging to his ego, and the American people are going to just keep pushing on his ego, and we will burn his legacy if he doesn't placate to the base more. And they are placating, acting like they're supporting things, but if we can keep pushing, the person after Trump is going to be so much further to the right, like we've always said. So Trump's not our guy, but we're going to continue to push until we get our guy. So that's what kind of the way the American sentiment is working, and I think it is happening at a pretty high level.
Well, yesterday, Netanyahu has new propaganda interview with that guy, with that Zionist guy. Irani guy. I don't know. I'm not following.
Patrick David.
Yeah, I don't follow that guy, but it's just everything is scripted, damage control, and preparing again with war with Iran. Oh, they now have a new missiles. They can put nuclear heads. They can go to Europe, to Florida. It's just selling. These people just selling for shekels for this war criminal.
Yeah, how hilarious it is! An Iranian, this descendant of Iranian rebels, basically, that fled the country, is interviewing the Jewish president that is of Israel, that is currently making plans to bomb Iran. I mean, it's because he supports that. He wants to overthrow the Ayatollah, so they want to come back into the country. They see I mean, I even hear talks of trying to bring the royalty back into Iran.
Let them go to live when they overthrow government. Let this guy go back to his country and live. If he's pushing so much to change of regime, after regime is changed, let him go back to his country.
No, don't give him the easy way out. I mean, he needs to go now. He wants regime change in Iran. He wants to prop up Netanyahu. Send him to Iran now. Send him to his motherland now. I mean, that's the point of these things. Patrick Davis, I believe he was born in the United States. He spent his entire life in the United States.
But he was not born.
Oh, he wasn't born here?
No.
He spent most of his life here, correct? Because he came in the 70s.
I believe he was, I don't know if he was born in the States, but he spent most of his young adult life in Iran. And he's Armenian. I know that as well. But did you guys watch the interview with Netanyahu by chance?
No.
Yeah. It was straight talking points. Like it was definitely not scripted, but like certain leave it. We're not going to touch this. We're not going to touch that. He even recognized Armenia, like the genocide there, which I thought was really funny, considering he wouldn't talk anything about, and it was brought up multiple times during the interview about what's going on in Gaza. He was even asked like, does Israel control America? Obfuscated and just ran around the questions. It was a terrible, terrible interview, in my opinion. And then it's like PBD also is like it's not really, well, it is relative. Nick Fuentes called him out for a debate, and he also called out a few other people, and they're just refusing to debate him. So yeah, BB's I'll post it down in the pill. It was an interesting interview. There's timestamps and everything, so you can kind of skip around. But I definitely think it's worth the watch. Just because you can see it. You can see how well he lies. It's really fun to watch. Not fun.
What they do, it's in their blood. Jewish know only to lie and that's in their blood. So they are very good liars. Even with this bombing, these 5 journalists and hospital, we're doing investigation because it was some Hamas camera. It's unbelievable. I don't know who's swallowing all these lies and then deceives. I don't understand.
Evangelical Christians here in America. And Twiddle, I looked it up. I guess he was he lived in Iran up until the age of 11, and he didn't move to Germany until 1989, and then transitioned from Germany and a U.S. military base there to coming into America. I mean, it's insane. Ever since the 80s, we've been getting invaded by these people.
So he's an army brat, technically, right?
No. Just like Afghanistan, they did that huge pulling all those people from Afghanistan, all these refugee asylum seekers, and they put them all in Germany because we have massive Ramstein, and there's a couple massive U.S. military bases in Germany, and they'll put them there as like a temporary hold until they can get all the asylum status in America and transport them all over to America. So I mean, it's just been that asylum process ever since the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. It's just been asylum wave after asylum wave. The last 30 years has been an exponential increase, but they have been invading us for the past 60 years. And that Iranian is just a part of that invasion. It's crazy. And I mean, my point was that he'll never have loyalty to the United States. He always has loyalty to his version of Iran and his Iranian people. So I mean, really listening to Netanyahu lie. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get much benefit out of that. I've been listening to that guy lie for the past 40 years. But it is interesting though that they're being forced to admit that they're bombing hospitals. And the only reason they're talking about bombing this hospital is probably like the 5th or 6th hospital they've carpet bombed is because there was foreign AP reporters in that hospital that got blown up and killed. That's the only reason we know about this story. If it was the refugee camps or the other 5 hospitals they've already blown up, it completely gets swept under the rug because there's no foreign bodies there, and they're able to basically control the media. And I agree. I don't know who, because everyone's getting these tidbits of information. I don't know who can see the photos of people starving to death and the photos of what that city looks like now and not see it as what it is. Those people are just trying to ethnically cleanse and those people from their country. But at the same time, I mean, do we want
push them in Europe?
Yeah, and push them to Europe. Do we want them in the West? Because that's exactly what's happening right now. Bibi is gathering them all up and they're shipping them all to the West. And Trump said not a single one would come to America, and there've already been plane loads of them coming into America. And I know it's a million people spread all over the West, but they've already sent 10 million of those Palestinians into our nation over the past 30 years. We have to get them all out of our nation, and now there's nowhere for them to go because they're never going to let them go back to Israel, and nowhere else in the Middle East wants them. And it's kind of a lose-lose situation for all Western nations. But analysts jump back.
100 million.
Oh, General.
100 million people from the Middle East they've sent into the West. 100 million.
Exactly, yeah. The 10 million was just Palestine. I mean, but they've had those greater Israel ambitions of Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, all of those nations where they've been just cleansing people out of and forcing all of them to the West. Hundreds of millions of Middle Eastern Muslim horde invaders, and now we have little girls in Scotland that have to walk around with hatchets and knives to protect themselves, and then get arrested for protecting themselves. It's pretty blackmailing. But Aimless, jump back in there, buddy.
I want to pivot back to China real quick. A lot of people don't know this, but in July we had a governor in Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. territory. He was killed mysteriously for not covering up, unveiling Chinese corruption. It's one of the territories we have in America that if you're Chinese, you can come in visa-free. They come in, they pay their casinos, spend billions of dollars there, and then they even give them free DMV licenses so they can come to the mainland America and all these IDs in the island. If you wanted to put the thread in the nest.
Yeah, could you? Because I was just looking it up. I was trying to find something on that.
Hit the like button. This is a X space.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good information. And we have, I put it up in the jumbo, this little girl over in Scotland.
getting charged. And I know you guys covered that already, but this is just absolutely unacceptable that children have to defend themselves with with hatchets and knives, and the invaders have machetes and swords. Where the hell are the people? Like, what the hell are the men doing over there? Pick your ass up off your couch and go defend your children. Like, oh, I might get arrested. Yeah, you'll get arrested. But if enough of you stand up, it won't happen. Enough of this bull. Like, the whole world is watching this now. The whole world sees it. All eyes are on you right now. Are you going to stand up and make your stand? Or are you just going to keep sitting there and letting your children have to fight them off with freaking hatchets and knives? Little girls. This is the most shameful thing that you could possibly have happen in your country. Like, where the hell are the Scottish people? Where are the men? Like, you're sending your little girls out to fight these people. I mean, this is shameful, man. And anyone who's Scottish, shame on you. Shame on you. You all deserve to be in prison. Every single Scottish man deserves to be in prison for allowing it to get to this point. Like, you're sending your daughters, little children, out there to defend themselves in the streets because you don't have the nutsack to get out there and do what's necessary? No way in hell. All you Scots, shame on you. Shame on you. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for you.
I hate to say it.
It's absolutely unacceptable.
Please hit the
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
I hate to say it, but Antifa has more balls. It just happened. They be doxing the police officers, arresting little girls like they do with ICE, and they be calling out the judges. Like, the right doesn't have anything like Antifa. They should be doxing the police officers right now.
All of them. Dox the police officers, dox the
judge.
Dox the judge, the lawyers, everybody. And that's the other thing with Shiloh Hendricks. This came out. They're trying to charge her with 3 counts. And I made a post on this this morning, and I'll put it up here. And it's Larry Ellison who's behind it. What is Larry Ellison's position? Let's take a look. I'll put it up in the Jumbotron. So Larry Ellison, who's the AG of Minnesota, who's going after her, his statement is, only one thing can stop white supremacy: solidarity between Muslims and Jews. This is the guy's position. It's up in the Jumbotron. I'll show you his statement as well. I'll put that up there. It's in the thread. His statement is, Shiloh Hendricks' behavior was horrible, wrong, and morally repugnant. Really? Really? Is it morally repugnant for these people to invade our country? That man was a pedophile, by the way, that was filming her. Let's not forget that. And let's check in on Larry Ellison's moral compass. Let's check on him. Here, I'll throw it up in the Jumbotron. There you go. This is Larry. Or sorry, this is Keith Ellison. Keith Ellison. This is his moral compass. Go ahead, take a look. This is what this guy's on, talking about morality. This is his morality. Keith Ellison's morality of beating a white woman half to death. I wonder why he did that. The only way to end white supremacy, which we know they think all white people are white supremacists. Just for you existing, you're a white supremacist. If you wake up early in the morning, you're a white supremacist. If you're on time for work, you're a white supremacist. If you're good at mathematics, reading, and writing, you're a white supremacist. Yeah. The only way to end people being on time to work is solidarity between Muslims and Jews. The only way to end children being good at mathematics is solidarity between Muslims and Jews. The only way to end people waking up early in the morning is solidarity between Muslims and Jews. This is his take while he's beating a white woman half to death. But then he says Shiloh Hendricks' behavior was horrible and wrong and morally repugnant. Really, Keith? Really? So beating your girlfriend half to death, was that behavior horribly wrong and morally repugnant, Keith? And then he's going after this lady trying to protect her kid from a fucking pedophile running across. What was a pedophile doing in the park with his camera out filming children? Anybody want to ask the question?
Yeah, he was being a Muslim.
Why wasn't he gone after by Keith Ellison? Well, because exactly. He's a Somali Muslim, and the Muslims and Jews have to have solidarity to end white supremacy. So that guy gets a free pass. The pedophile in the park with his camera out around a bunch of kids gets a free pass. That's Keith for you. That's what Keith is on. So this whole bullshit of they need to go after people for saying hurty words while this guy's beating the hell out of people half to death, that's okay. You know, the Somali pedophile in the park filming kids is okay. But if you say a hurty word, which is protected by the First Amendment and freedom of speech, that's just morally repugnant. Yeah, sure, Keith. Put Keith on blast there. Let everybody know about Keith Ellison and his hate for white people and how he thinks we should be handled. Yeah, it's unacceptable. But yeah, Twitler, if you want to go ahead, jump in there, go ahead.
Hit the like button, please.
Hey, thank you, General. I find it funny that all this stuff keeps stemming out of the same state. It's almost a cancer that's continually getting bigger and bigger. Sorry, there's trains coming, but I think it's just a result of DEI in our governance to an extent. That's a significant portion of the why is there a pedophile in the park? It's not just it comes with the territory of the immigration of these people, but it also stems from the I've seen everything from a whole bunch of people being that clearly there are one skin color being labeled white on most of these crime statistic things. I've seen that not only in states like Minnesota, but in DC. Sorry, here, let me go inside. But in Minnesota as well, and sex offender registries, all that stuff. Everything's getting thrown by the wayside. They're letting criminals out of jail in every state, every Democratic state, I should say. Florida seems to be the only one that's really kind of going after these people and making an example of it for their state. I wish these other ones would follow suit. But that's just my thoughts on that. Minnesota's been constantly talked about in the negative on our end for the last 7 years. Not including the flag change and Ilhan Omar marrying her brother. Don't get me started, but yeah, I just find it funny. Minnesota's constantly it's just festering out of there. It's nasty. It's gross.
Yeah, Somalis, right? And I put up the post up there. I made this morning, and they're talking about that Indian truck driver that killed those people. And this lady on Fox News, she's been, I don't know who she is, but she's been on fire. She went at Howard Lutnick hard, and now she's asking the hard questions on this guy. Did you see the look on his face? All of our talking points that everybody pointed out. The guy has zero remorse. And Ron DeSantis said he's throwing the book at this guy. he's gonna get, hopefully they bunk him with Tyrone over there in prison, and they'll have a field day with him. But I don't know. This has just gone out of control. Illegal invaders. The statement from Florida is illegal invaders. Your license is not valid in Florida. Period. Anyone who's illegal is not valid. You will be deported. If they pull you over and you don't have a valid license because you're illegal, you will be deported, and they will go at you hard. So, Ron DeSantis is he's doing good on that. I know Ron DeSantis has some wacky stuff when it comes to Israel, but when it actually comes to all the other issues, he's pretty much on point. He's on his knees for Israel, but when it comes to the rest of it, he's done good for Florida. You got to give him that.
I really want to see them go after the people that gave them these licenses from these other states, though. Like, I mean, make people accountable for this stuff. There's always a paper trail to this, even from them coming into this country. If they were able to obtain a way to operate a motor vehicle on our roads, someone's accountable for this. Florida should, in my opinion, lead the way on suing these states. Heck, it could even get Newsom right now for it. I mean, in the end, it's his policies and his governance of the state that's probably led to that. I could argue that it's, been a long-standing problem in California, but I'd be barking up a tree. Go after him. They deported the other guy already. The guy who was the passenger in the truck, he's gone. So this guy, they're throwing a book at him. They're calling for capital punishment. No, they're not calling for it. I forget, someone started a petition and had a bunch of signatures. I did notice on some of them that a lot of the names were Indian names, which I thought was kind of weird. But and it's just funny, like the lady on Fox, and some of the posts that I saw relating to that, the comments they're all over it, from these H1Bs and these Indians, and they're nasty comments. I don't understand it. Like you said, no remorse, and you could see it in his eyes. But yeah, Gucci. And then there's another thing I saw. He had an air freshener hanging in that truck, of a Punjabi rapper, that was, I think he ended up dead somehow, but he's like a martyr to them. And that was hanging in there, and ties into that same, I shared a video of a bunch of people in Canada, Punjabs, they're like beating the shit out of white guys in their music video, their rap Punjab video. And I was just like, it's awfully bold. Like, there's a reason we don't see that here yet. It's because we're vast here, and there's a reason we see the extent of anger over in the UK and all these other places. It's just 'cause it's all concentrated, man. They don't have as much land. They don't. Everyone's they're piled in. So I can understand that they're bubbling off, and then this really getting to a head, because it just sucks to see it from a little girl. But I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity, in my opinion. I think this is just going to end up stirring people off, and I wanted to give a shout out to Caesar for his awesome posters that he's been doing. That incredible work. Kind of gives me some nostalgia for the old Uncle Sam ones, and I think we need to see more of that stuff. It's definitely an easy tool to get people on board without having to speak to them. You just put a couple words on a poster and share it out there. That's it.
Yeah, it's going in that direction. People are pissed, and people are starting to wake up, and people are speaking up on a massive scale on this. It's not going to be much longer, and it looks like Ken Paxton now. Let me throw this up here too, just to kind of cover this real quick. Ken Paxton, this guy is just on fire. This guy's like, I don't know, somebody pissed this guy off, but he's like, F the world, I'm gonna just burn everybody that's ever looked at me sideways. and he's now he's going after Gerber, Plume Organics, and all these other baby food manufacturers for putting poisonous chemicals and heavy metals into baby food. So this guy's just on a freaking rampage, and he's just getting win after win after win after win. I mean, it's just like this guy, he's on a warpath, and he's just on a tear. Like, he's just unstoppable right now, and it's awesome to see it.
Isn't that what RFK was supposed to do for us, rather than putting the clot shot on the vaccine schedule for 2-year-olds? I mean, it's really frustrating how quickly and sadly RFK has fallen off the pedestal. But it's great to see Ken Paxton continually to put out great information down there. I threw Caesar's thing up there because we have to make those pushes, and using Caesar's art as a background. I mean, he's a great person to follow, because he's constantly putting out new art, and you use that to support your comments, and it helps spread the comments. Nothing greater than me though. I'm dropping a negative comment on Vivek Ramaswamy, and I go to the comments, and there's like 3 other people that have already used the same exact art that I've gotten from Caesar. That's great. I mean, it just shows how quickly it's spreading, and we can use that information like that to push the Overton window, and I think we're getting these stories on a mass scale. Because that Overton window is being pushed. Typically, these stories would have been swept under the rug and never seen the light of day. But there is this push to call off these invaders and continue to push the Overton window. And we have to use it to our advantage. But I think Sonny came up. You wanted to jump in there, Sonny? Did you have your hand? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, sure. So, sorry, I was just fried some eggs and bacon, because, some bacon per day keeps the invaders away. But, society has been so corrupted by these invaders now, because they keep getting into these positions of middle management power and bureaucracy. And, you go to any, public office, and you get treated like a second-rate citizen, because some brown guy is staffing the desk, and they give you all this attitude, and just Friday, for example, horrible thing happened Friday. My son goes to a school nearby here, and they've hired some guy who's apparently a teacher's aide, or whatever you call it. He's not an actual teacher, and his name is Muhammad. And my son comes home Friday, and he has a bruise on his upper arm, and he says that Muhammad was very angry with him, and Muhammad is hurting me. So naturally, I did the responsible thing, and I went down to the police station, and we filed a report. And then I contacted his teacher. I sent her a text, and I informed her that I had filed a police report about this matter, and I also sent her pictures of his arm. He's 11 years old. So Monday they were supposed to start having some meetings over there at the school, and apparently this Muhammad guy wasn't at school Monday, which I guess they probably told him not to come in. But I haven't heard anything. Today's obviously what is today? Wednesday. So it's only been 2 days, but it's very upsetting to me, and he's probably gonna come up with some dumb excuse, I suppose. But and this is not I wouldn't say this is a unique incident. You have these people permeating society, and a few months ago, I was dealing with a similar thing with my mother in the nursing home, because she's in she's had a couple of strokes, and she's in a wheelchair, and she's in a nursing home. They're public here, so what they do is they take 90% of your pension, and you're supposed to get like care, but when the only people they're hiring are like Somali 55 IQ pirates, the level of care is going to be very, very, very poor, and these people have crazy temperament. So I don't see this working out at all. I really, I'm really, really firmly of the belief that these people are just not, from a genetic perspective, capable of functioning in a society. And the only thing that could possibly happen is they're going to drag us down. The more of them that are here, the worse things are going to get. And when it comes to like that thing in Scotland with the little girls and the hatchet and that, just imagine how close you are to it all kicking off when like 12-year-olds are carrying axes. Like that just tells you that something is very, very close to going off, and people are going to erupt, because all these laws are just they're only used to oppress white people. If you think about the all this hate speech bullshit and all that, the police are coming to your door, they're knocking on your door, they're going, "Hello, sir, this post you posted on Twitter has caused offense. Please come with us to the police station and go straight to jail for 2 years," Like Lucy Connolly, some middle-aged mother of, I don't know, 2 or 3 kids, gets put in prison for 2 years for an offensive post after the...
Sonny, what country are you from?
I'm in Norway. So we're pretty deep in the shit here.
Yeah, I mean, why does Mohammed still have hands?
Well, the simple answer to that is most white people have responsibilities, jobs, children, and they care about these other people in their lives, and they care about their own life, and their life has value. But these parasites, nothing has any value to them. Human rights don't exist. Any respect for any human life other than their own doesn't exist. Their own immediate clan, their family
Sonny, there's no such thing as human rights. Okay, human rights are for humans. And the problem is these people aren't human. They're subhuman. They're coming here and attacking children and raping children. That's not human. They don't. Human rights do not apply to somebody like that, and that's a fact. These people are not human, and they're coming here to invade, rape, murder, pillage. We say it every single day. They're here invading our country, and they're here to rape, murder, pillage, get you fired from your job, take your women, your children, take your country, take your businesses, take everything from you, and destroy you completely. Genocide, total genocide is what they're going for. I put a post up there in the Jumbo of all these CEOs who are Indian. Well, none of these companies should be getting any government funding whatsoever. They should get zero government contracts, and they sure as hell shouldn't have any military contracts. Especially with like Palantir coming in. What are we going to do? Just have all of our information siphoned straight to India? Like, you think that the Chinese are bad with getting caught? These guys are running the companies. These guys are at the top. Who's going to get them in trouble for stealing all of our information and sending it to India? No one. There's no one there to hold these guys accountable. This is a huge national security threat, and it's a huge problem. And they're going all over the place. And these guys have small brains. Indians have small brains, and it makes them have psychopathic tendencies. And that's not a joke. I've posted it many times. It's out there. They have a different brain structure, and it's smaller, and it makes them have psychopathic tendencies where they have no remorse whatsoever. They can steal your entire life savings from a little old granny, and that's it. Like, that's what she has to rely on, and now she'll be dead, and they're okay with that. They'll kill three people on the highway and just look around like no big deal with a smirk on his face. Like, this is who these people are. That's why they're all scammers. They have no remorse for anything because their brains are just small. They're small brain. And they publish it in their own publications about their small brains. So it's a very big problem. Like, if we were talking about any other species on the planet, they would segment these out. You know, when they look at elephants from different continents, they don't say they're all the same, right? They classify them differently. When you look at bears from different areas and different countries, they don't classify them the same. But when it comes to humans, all of a sudden they want to classify everyone as the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. No, we're not. We're not the same.
But my question is, why has there never been a single instance of the human rights being used to uphold the rights of some white person? I can't remember even one.
These are, exactly. These are all designed to destroy us in our own country, to replace us. And who's running those human rights organizations? You know, I did a big rant yesterday about the DOJ having the CRS, the community relations services. It's the largest propaganda wing in the entire country of the United States. This is the biggest scandal. Like, you think Project Mockingbird is bad? This thing makes it look like child's play. These guys have their hands in every single department across the entire country. They have their hands in every single media across the country. They have their hands in every single courtroom across the country. They determine what gets national airtime and what doesn't get national airtime. They're the ones who push them to publish, oh, it was a group of teens that attacked that man. Like, group of teens, they're a bunch of black dudes. But when a white guy commits a crime, they say the white guy. They immediately mention the race. So they've run this gigantic propaganda wing across, and they're also involved in manipulating statistics. So, like, we're seeing all these, like, crazy statistics that are all manipulated, and they're way worse than anyone sees. Like, the statistics that we put out are nothing compared to what the real statistics are. And they're starting to get into that. And I posted on it yesterday from the Commissioner of New York. He said 99% of people in their database are people of color. 99%. 96% of shootings are people of color in New York. These are the real stats that this CRS has been covering up for this entire time to get white people to accept these people as the same and to accept them invading our country. That's what that department is 100% designed to do, is to run propaganda that will force white people, or to convince white people to accept these people invading you into your country. And they have these in every single country. It's not just the United States. That they're operating this worldwide, and it's all through the bankers. So you guys jump in. I'll post on this right now. I'll give you guys the information. I posted the other day the document from the UN about how the UN has the replacement migration. That one's taken off. I think that, I'm sure you guys probably saw it already. Let me throw it up in the Jumbotron real quick, and then I'll make the post. This one is at almost 2 million views, so it's made its rounds. But this is what people need to see. They need to see that the UN is responsible for invading all of our countries, and they've been working on it since the year 2000. But yeah, go ahead, guys, while I make this post.
Sonny, can I ask you something? Can you give me your statistic of rape in Sweden, no-go zones, and attack?
I think he said he was in Norway, Ivy.
Norway, not Sweden.
Yeah, no, I'm in Norway, but I do know that the numbers in Sweden are pretty grim. They're pretty grim.
How is situation in your country with all this? Do you have no-go zones, mosques, all that shit that's coming with them?
Yeah, we do have mosques. I wouldn't know about exactly no-go zones, but there are areas that I wouldn't want to go to. And in those areas, people, for some reason, these Muslims, they like to meet after school in front of the school to have their showdowns. So this means that in the evening time, they're hacking each other up with machetes and shooting at each other outside of schools. And there was some Moroccan migrant recently on charges. Apparently, he's now reached 18, but he's been underage for a while, so they haven't been able to properly punish him because of the how the justice system is structured. You know, it's very lenient for minors. And apparently, he went down to the library, which is down by the opera. It's is very sort of famous design, the opera and everything, and it's on the waterfront. But he went down there and he went in the library and assaulted some Ukrainian refugees, basically beat the shit out of them. So there's like these kids coming from Ukraine from some war, and first thing that happens to them, they go to the library and they get the shit kicked out of them by some Muslim guy, and he's also on charges for raping a little girl in the toilets there at the library on another occasion. So I mean, we're benefiting a lot here, you know. I think we're just like maybe 10 or 15 years behind Sweden, and it's heading the same direction, really. It's just Sweden has much higher numbers, but it doesn't really, I mean, they just keep coming. So, I mean, we're going to reach their numbers eventually. And, yeah, we're already having an influx of so-called Swedish criminals. But you know they're not really Swedish, you know.
Yeah, I mean the same thing that's facing Germany and Great Britain right now. I mean, we're all on the pathway to that. I mean, even here in America, we're demographically in a worse situation. It's pretty black pilling, but at the same time, it's kind of white pilling to see, you know, how many people are waking up and how many people are starting to notice. Hopefully, we can get those Celts, my ancestors, to wake up there in Scotland, and we can get the Vikings to wake up in Norway. I mean, we really need to wake up our history of who we are as a people, and really just create an organized change across all Western civilizations to take our countries back. And you know, we don't do these spaces to try to convince the Indians or the Muslims to stop invading us, but we do these spaces to wake up our people, and we have to wake up our people. But Twiddle, jump back in there, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Rush. I would love to touch on all that stuff you guys were saying, but I kind of wanted to jump back to what General was talking about yesterday in regards to the CRS stuff. I've been doing a really deep dive into it, and these guys have had their hands in everything. I thought the media, I guess Mockingbird is strictly just media, and it's just the facilitation of it, and making sure that the people that are the talking heads are saying the right things. But what really happens is the CRS will come in and kind of dictate what's said, how it's said, what they choose to let out. This stuff is crazy. I'm doing a really big deep dive, and I'm gonna get in touch with Drew and see if he actually wants to dive on this on Saturday in the conspiracy corner. But I mean, just to kind of go back on it, this stuff came out in the 1960s. It's all conceived during the Kennedy administration, probably per influence to him and his ear through, because this is like the same time as like the Hart-Sellers Act and all that stuff. But this falls under what they call it. It's called Title X, and this basically it mandated for the CRS to provide what they call conciliation assistance, where like to the communities, where anytime there was a dispute, disagreement, or like any difficulties related to like discriminatory, racial, or any of that stuff, practices based on race, color, or like your anything that wasn't an ethnic American, basically. This all was put under the Department of Commerce, and so there was like a stupid amount of money allocated to it, and like basically any of these states can call in and get in touch with the CRS, and the entire thing is always like under, like, it's all confidential. Everything's confidential. It's kind of like it's like a therapist for our country's struggles of like racial tension, is the best way I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing with like what CRS is and how it works, which is just wild to think about. But I mean, General's right. They have so many tentacles and have been in so many things. Like I'm seeing their involvement during this research, like in like a big chunk of it, like I would say like 40% of it had to do with like the Fair Housing Act and all the implications that came after they enacted that actual act, and like, you know, the projects and like all these neighborhoods that got integrated with people. But you had like they had everything from the Fair Housing Act to the Church Arson Prevention Act, and that was in like '96. The reopening of like Emmett Till stuff, just to kind of like spew this tension. Like they literally, not only are they facilitating the discord and what's heard throughout the news and what people talk about and gossip about all day. Not only are they doing that, but they're involved in bringing up stuff from the past and digging up dirt to like kind of like, you know, grind people's gears and bring up old noise. I just wanted to, over 60 years they've been doing this, guys. Everything from like the Rodney King case to Trayvon Martin, George Floyd. They've had their hands in all this stuff. Their headquarters is in DC. As far as I know, I haven't delved into it too much, but as far as the defunding of this or any eyes looking at this through like Doge, nothing. I can't find anything. They have a huge presence in strengthening the police and community partnerships. So they basically like engage in they facilitate the building of like the relationships between the Sikhs, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Jewish people, and even like the LGBTQ community. They're involved in that too, and that's why I wanted to get out. I want to talk to DEI about this. It's almost like they're like tentacles, guys. It's literally like tentacles. They're in everything, and they're even in like stakeholders, and people can invest in these companies that are affiliated with CRS too. So I'm putting together a whole bunch of stuff, and like this is crazy. Please do. Like the impact is crazy. I can't stress that enough. Like I thought Mockingbird was bad.
No, this is like full blown control of the country, like full blown control of the legal system, the police, the like they're the ones that are they're the centralized hub between the police, the judges, the lawyers, the media, what gets hits mainstream media, what doesn't. Like the statistics, the manipulation of the statistics within the FBI, within all these police departments. That's why you see black people getting put in the system as white people. CRS is responsible for that.
Dude, they're like the fourth branch of government. Like if there was a fourth branch of government that had, you know, the same thing as executive powers, like this is it. CRS is it. And I need to find more on their budget because dude, General, I had no idea, dude. This is crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody knows, and they do it deliberately to make sure that nobody knows, and they've been doing it for freaking ever. They were established in 1963, and they've just been going like an animal ever since, and they are the largest propaganda wing. Like, everyone complains about the media and like, who owns the media? Who owns the media? CRS owns the media. They're the ones that control the media. CRS is the one that tells them how to pump all this out. Who can, who can't, who you can label as white, who you can't, whose identity you protect, whose you don't. It's CRS. They're the ones controlling all of that. And that's the part that nobody has a clue about. They just want to look straight at all these media companies. It's CRS. They're the one. They're the central hub of all of this degeneracy and nonsense. But there's one thing. I made a post, and it's huge. This is another massive, massive blow that just came out, and it's up in the Jumbotron. If you guys can like and share that out, this is probably the biggest story of the week by far. And the central bankers, we all know who the central bankers are, right? Well, the central bankers just said the quiet part out loud at Jackson Hole. They had admitted that this immigrant invasion of the West was done by design, and they're the ones who've been pushing it. So the central banks just admitted that they are the ones behind all of this, and they are the ones that have been pushing this across every single Western nation. And this lady, Mrs. Boyd, she goes into this, and I put her longer clip in the comment section, and she goes into how Trump's going after the central banks. He's reworking everything in order to end this whole bullshit, because the central banks have said basically like the only way that you can keep having growth is just through a mass invasion of your country, and we need mass invasion if we're going to be sustainable themselves. And we all know who the central banks are. We know who owns them. But this is the biggest story of the week by far. This lady is breaking the whole thing. John Bolton's also connected with this. I should post that there too, of her work on that. So John Bolton is also connected with this entire thing, with these central banks, with like all the war hawking. All those guys, they're the war hawks. They're all connected with the central banks. She did a really great breakdown on why John Bolton was targeted on all this stuff too. So it all comes back to the central banks every single time. And I'm telling you, this is the biggest story, and they've openly admitted it now. And she has all the documentation. It's there. I have it listed as a reference in the comment section. But yeah, guys, it's the central banks. So Woodrow Wilson sold us down the river. He should be exhumed and sent to Slumdog Millionaire Dookie Island over there for the rest of eternity. That's what he's worth to the United States. Him and LBJ both need to be exhumed and sent to Slumdog Millionaire to boil in a vat of hot excrement of the Indians for the rest of eternity. But yeah, Overwatch, go ahead, jump in there.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, well, the CRS was the biggest thing, but now this is. But yeah, that's we've all known that. A lot of us listen here have known, it's the banks, and we know who the banks are and all that stuff. But yeah, that's going to wake up a lot of normies. I'm gonna share that out to the normies at corporate. But I wanted to one thing that went off in my mind when you were talking about the CRS is the corporate tie-in, corporate legal department. So you've got the board and the executive level management's kind of like one monolith usually, and then you've got HR. So what I thought mainly was happening was the people at the top of the board, which may be the case, are putting out these DEI or these unpopular policies, and then HR kind of acts like the Stasi to quiet any dissent. Oh, you can't say anything or we'll send you to HR. And then the corporate legal is kind of, I thought was mainly there to protect them from any lawsuits for running that gambit, right? But now I'm thinking, well, wow, I bet CRS has a direct pipeline because they're all a group of lawyers down there that they pay millions of dollars to sit on there, and their sole job, which is funny, is that they're, as a lawyer, they're supposed to litigate, but they spend most of their time teaching the company how to not to go to litigation and not do their job. Well, we advise you not to do this because otherwise we'll have to go to court. So it's really jacked up. And now, so if you guys are looking into that, see how they tie into corporate legal. So now I'm thinking maybe some of this stuff is being pushed through the legal department under threat of lawfare, not necessarily through the boards and stuff, in coordination with HR, because HR is, they have the dirt on everybody. If there was an allegation for some CEO or some executive level guy from 10 years ago, Susie and Susie, the admin, said he did XYZ, they have a document on that, and they could pull that out and say, hey, you're not going along here. But now I'm really thinking it may be coming through corporate legal, through this CRS input. I guarantee you they got tentacles in every corporate legal department. And why? Most Americans work for corporations. It's a way to control a vast majority of agendas and compliance through the corporation because, like the other guy said, we have families. We don't want to lose our job, and it's a control mechanism. So, I just want to share that went off in my mind. I'll land it.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, CRS is literally everywhere. They are you think the CIA is bad, these guys are it. This is worse. They run around, they threat. I mean, Harmeet Dillon, as much as we give her a hard time, she went on Tucker Carlson and she revealed part of this. She said, she gave the directive from Trump directly that they have to stop doing this demonization of whites, and they have to stop, pushing what they've been pushing because of the CRS. And they had a third of their workforce had a meltdown and quit. But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show they're controlling the DOJ. I mean, it's within the DOJ, right? So the CRS is the DOJ, and it's the way that the DOJ gets into local cases. The DOJ is not really supposed to. It's a federal thing, so they're not supposed to go into the local. But they are. They're in every local. They're going to the local. They're threatening. And again, Harmeet Dillon exposed this in the Tucker Carlson interview that they go to all these local municipalities, these local law enforcement, the local, your district court judge, and all these people, and they threaten them with legal lawfare from the federal government. And so they just do what they're told. They have to follow what the DOJ, the most powerful legal entity on the planet, is going to tell them to do. That's what they're going to do. And that's why you see, like in Cincinnati, that guy got charged for being a victim. He was the victim of that crime, and he got charged. We're starting to see Shiloh Hendricks. She's also being charged for something that is completely within the law. And then you see people like Keith Ellison up there, who's, the AG connected in with the DOJ, and they run their whole gamut. They also put that Somali guy in as a police officer over there in Minnesota. And when he killed that woman, the CRS was there. He was a police officer that they fast-tracked through, and he killed a woman who was 8 months pregnant. And the CRS was there to cover it up. Nobody even heard of the story. No one in the whole country heard of it. It was us on here who had to blast it out there and make it known. But that guy was already out of prison by then. The CRS is also responsible for giving him a slap on the wrist and allowing him to get out of prison. Because when nobody in the country even knows what happens, you can get somebody in prison and get them right back out on the street, and nobody even knows it. There's no backlash. And the CRS is responsible for all of that. They controlled the media. So when they put all these black guys in prison, they killed that one kid in high school, and they gave these black guys who killed him 6 months in jail. That's it. And they let him out for murder. And the CRS was the one that was responsible for all that. So the other day when I went at Harmeet Dillon, and all these guys were saying, "Oh, that's a local case with Cincinnati. That's not DOJ." Bullshit. They pissed me off enough that I exposed the whole damn thing. And we're gonna dig hard now because all you shitbags ran your mouth. Now it's coming. Everyone's gonna be digging into the CRS now. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna expose the whole damn thing top to bottom. That's what you get for running your mouth. But yeah, go ahead, Overwatch, jump in there.
So, General Rush, how can we? So, let's say a sheriff's department or a local law enforcement department. These guys come in. If they record those threats and stuff, can they go after for racketeering, or what can we get these people? I mean, if we can prove that, if we can catch these lawyers coming in and threaten this shit, and we have it on tape, what can we do? How can we fight this?
Dude, Overwatch, we have Harmeet Dillon sitting on Tucker Carlson's show. She's assistant AG of the country, telling him this is happening, this happened. What more evidence do you need beyond that? Like, that's why I said anyone who's been charged with anything in the last, 7 years, go at them. Go at this CRS. Go back to the judges and say, look, this is BS. Harmeet Dillon said you guys were going at us unjustly.
Why she doesn't go? When she will start to dig in this?
She won't do shit. She's Indian. That's why we give her a hard time, because she will never do anything. She's Indian. What do you expect? She's a foreigner who's an Indian. The best thing that she did, and the only thing that she did, was openly admit this on Tucker Carlson. That's it.
So they're all over the J6 too, right? I would assume they're all over.
Yeah, 100%. You know exactly why that got national news attention. They're the ones that control. 100%. They control what gets national news and what doesn't. It's the CRS.
Hey, General, real quick, you guys just touched on everything that was like literally the last thing that I was pulling up and kind of delving into was like Trump's impact during this time, and like if he's done anything to try and eliminate CRS. So check this out. So I was searching on like the funding and like anyone who's like, had like an independent threat, or any like someone who's come out and tried to like already, point their finger at CRS saying this is what you guys are doing. So check this out. It says funding and independent threats. In 2018 through 19, the Trump administration's budget proposed eliminating CRS or folding it into the Civil Rights Division, reducing its staff by 27 and closing regional offices. Their main headquarters is in DC, by the way. This includes the New York City Bar Association and Hate Crimes Task Force argued that this would undermine neutrality, and that's basically what they are. CRS is supposed to be a neutral, completely neutral thing, both there and anything. But yeah. Anyway, it says New York City Bar Association and Hate Crimes Task Force argued that this would undermine neutrality as the Civil Rights Division handles investigations and violate statutory mandates, potentially leading to the increase in violence and litigation costs. Congress preserved funding, but similar proposals resurfaced in 2025, very, very recently. This was in February. Under the second Trump term. So he's brought it up twice in 2 terms, promoting NAACP outcry that it would undo civil rights progress. So the NAACP, I'm sure, is just an underling of the CRS, along with many other of these, similar types of groups or whatever. But it says it would undo civil rights progress and surge disputes in marginalized communities. These are political controversies, not CRS violations. But there is a huge bias, in all of this stuff, because like people are really looking into like CRS's inception, like how it's worked since its inception, what it's done, like its track record. And it says some conservative critics have alleged that CRS shows bias in interventions, and we're talking about like an 85% bias most of the time. Like there's only like certain times that they'll side with like an ethnic American issue or anything like that. But it says focusing on progressive causes like the BLM protest, but no legal findings support this. And it says in the 1970s, the Office of Judicial prosecution review praised its mechanisms, conciliation, mediation without. Okay, none of that stuff's important, but they're saying that like there is no evidence to basically say that CRS has done any legal violations, has admitted and involved in any scandals, or had any overreach. That's just funny, because when you look up like what they are and who they are.
Twitter. I mean, we just literally got done saying that Harmeet Dillon went on Tucker Carlson and she admitted that they did all this nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Or violations. So I don't know how they can even say that, but we got onto this when Austin Metcalf was murdered, and we put a couple other big guys that are connected with some of the big media outlets onto it, and they wrote some. They did some research on it, but they didn't really cover much. They have. Let me see. I'll put it up. But yeah, go ahead. Twitch.
Wait, Twiddler, did you say that they were connected to BLM? I mean, because the whole, I thought the whole, while we researched it during the Austin Metcalf case, I thought the whole reason behind this organization was in order to prevent like racial buildup. You could see the mother, Austin Metcalf's mother, looking over to the side and you staring at someone while she's doing the interview. Sorry?
It was Kane. She was doing an interview with Kane.
Yeah.
And he asked her flat out.
Yeah, they asked her who it was, and she said he's from the government. It was the CRS official sitting there making sure she didn't say anything to create racial sentiment and try to tie Austin Metcalf's murder to race. And knowing that they're behind BLM, where dozens of people died during the BLM riots, billions of dollars of damage, and they were behind it and they promoted it. I mean, that's insane. I thought they were supposed to try to stop those racial uprisings. I guess they're only meant to stop them on one side, obviously.
Well, no, so that's my whole summary of these guys. I was just looking at the history and how they've kind of like evolved from their inception and what they've done along the way, and basically since 1964, the CRS has been. Okay, so the CRS is operated as like the only, and I want to highlight this like specifically, only federal agency exclusively dedicated to assisting state and local governments, and this is private and public organizations. So when we were talking about corporations or anything, I mean, I'm sure they were involved with the Blackstone guy in New York recently who went up in there and killed that, and then the media came out and said, yeah, he was going after somebody in the NFL and got off on the wrong floor, but he was on as a Blackstone and it was floor 33. Don't get me started on that one. But listen, private and public organizations, law enforcment, community groups like NAACP or it could be anyone. It could be a small grassroots organization. Doesn't matter. The CRS provides, like, their whole job is to assist these community groups, these law enforcement groups, all these public places, state and local officials, all this stuff, but in preventing and resolving racial, ethnic, and identity-based conflicts. So preventing and resolving, so it's stuff that's like, could happen or has already happened. And we've seen that with like their track record, whether it's Austin Metcalf or down to Trayvon Martin, it's the same thing. And it's all identity-based conflicts. Like the entire thing's all identity-based. They employ the mediators, the conciliators, and all these different specialists that basically provide services like facilitated dialogue. So they can tell you what to say, and they mediate everything. They train people. They do consultation, and all of it's confidential. All of it's completely voluntary, and all of it's free of charge. All of it. Like they just call a number and CRS shows up. But this is important part. The CRS has no. They don't have. Or they say they don't have any investigatory or prosecutorial or law enforcement authority, which is enshrined in the Civil Rights Act. So they're basically obfuscating the act and basically being a devil in your ear, telling you what to say, and that's what's crazy, man. Like the power of the word is so strong. Like you can facilitate people to do stuff just by talking. You can't physically make them do things, but you can use the right words as a silversmith.
No, I mean Twitler. That's why I keep bringing up that whole thing with Harmy Dillon.
Yeah,
go watch that. Go watch. She explains in there that this DOJ has gone into these local precincts and forced their hand into doing these things. That's not a written word. That's not a spoken word. That's force. That's a threat. You know, that's how they get and it's the DOJ. They have the power of the DOJ behind them.
No, I'm not arguing that. I think that's just them, you know, kind of going further into their fervor. Like they're willing to go and do the physical things now because it's getting to a head. It's just the way I see it. Like there was one way to do it when in the 60s and 70s and 80s, from all the things that happened from there, from all the civil rights stuff to the LA riots to everything we see today with, like I was saying before, like Austin Metcalf and all that stuff. And they're willing to kind of do the extremes. And they have the budget to do it. Like their budget is unlimited from what I've gathered here. Like it's unlimited. It's almost like it's on the black book, or like it has code names and stuff. Like if you ever looked up our budget's black book, and like you'll see all these random names, just random all capital letter names of random stuff that we have like millions and billions of dollars allocated to. It's nuts. Look, all of our budget is public, and we can look it up. But you'll see stuff on there that like just does not make sense. And no, I mean, I'm in complete agreement. I just think that we have media now. Like everyone has a phone in their pocket. It's harder to do stuff. So like they're willing to push that and do things that are way more outlandish or, you know, reprehensible, or not reprehensible, but like they're willing to kill people. To just to put it lightly. It's can you read? Did you have the Harmy Dillon thing up there in the jumbotron? I was trying to find it so I can save it.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry to butt in, but save everything. If they have that big a budget, we're usually ahead of these things in the space. So they may not have caught up yet, even though they're sophisticated as they are. Archive, save everything, because I bet they'll be about scrubbing stuff quickly.
I'm literally using ChatGPT now, and it's still loading. I put it in like 10 seconds ago. So it says, I was looking up the actual numbers here. If 15 million was the base last year, but I don't think that's accurate.
Well, you know, I don't know how much money they actually have to spend. You know, their reputation precedes themselves. You know, and they you come into a local PD or sheriff's department, you know, and they're, you know, get federal funding for this, that, and the other thing. They could just say, hey, we may put your federal funding under review. They may not spend a damn thing, just the threat of their presence, you know.
So I may have been wrong on the unlimited budget thing. I'm looking through like their history. Like it's usually around 12 to 14 $1 million a year. But I just looking at what they do, though, they don't really need a lot of money.
Yeah, how much money do you need just for teams of lawyers? That's
exactly
all they are. Just teams of these propagandist liberal lawyers.
And like I was saying, no, it's like all these other people that are under them, they also get money. Like NAACP gets money, and all these other NGOs that are somewhat affiliated with the civil rights stuff in some way or capacity, they all get money too. I mean, you could argue that most of these people in the civil rights, all these other places that aren't CRS, they get way more, hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I'm deep diving this all day and trying to figure out more of like where it ends, I guess is the way to put that.
That's another thing. Rush or General or anybody on the space, is anybody? So we know about the NGOs and how they launder money to the NGOs. Are they able to? Is there a mechanism they can launder basically like budgets back and forth between departments? You know, like legit departments in the government. I wonder if they could do that too. Like you just said, you know, they get whatever their budget is, but they're tied in with these other groups. Can they do shifty? You know, we'll send you a couple $1 million over here from this budget to that budget. Is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I just thought about it, you know, because like within a corporation, you can allocate, you know, you get different budgets for different departments. But I've seen it where, you know, hey, we're gonna ship, you know, $1 million over here for this project, and I wonder if that can happen interdepartmentally in the government departments. That's something I never thought of before.
I mean, on the defunding stuff, like I was saying, it was brought up in 2018, 2019 during the first Trump administration. Initially, it was rejected by Congress. He wanted to defund them completely and make them just part of the Civil Rights Division. It's being brought up again. Hasn't actually gone anywhere yet, but it has been brought up. This is proposals to aim to reduce CRS independence, arguing it duplicates civil rights division efforts. So critics, including the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights and Human Rights, warn that this violates the 1964 Civil Rights Act and could increase litigation costs. So, I don't know, downsizing but making it bigger? I don't understand that. The House so this was in July, introduced a bill on July 15, 2025, supporting CRS elimination, aligning with the administration's $0 request. The Senate has not yet acted, but historical patterns suggest Congress may preserve funding at less than $16 million, possibly with minor increases for inflation. Final enactment is expected by October 2025 through another CR. It's possible if negotiations stall. For the most up-to-date details, blah, 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 blah. So it looks like Trump's like talking about this in the back channels. Like if this isn't like talked about on the mainstream, I'm sure he's aware of it because he's done it twice in his presidency. So, I mean...
Yeah, even Greg has mentioned that the Trump administration is looking at completely gutting it. So, I don't know. Trump is fully aware of this, and this is, you know, with even Stephen Miller mentioned it the other day in the Oval Office that all the crime statistics have been covered up, and they're looking into how it's being covered up. They don't want people to know the extent of what the CRS has done in the country and what they've done to everybody for this long, but they want to expose all the crime. So that's why they had like the commissioner of New York come out and expose all the commissioner of New York came out and exposed all the actual crime rates.
Yeah, they've been fudging them. I mean, Trump was out in his meeting yesterday. He was saying, I don't know if it's him saying it or Steve Miller was calling out all the statistics of the DC crime statistics from the DC chief of police, and she's in a lot of hot water. They're looking at her really hard right now. Ever since her funny interview where she didn't know what the chain of command was. And the mayor stepped in and was like, all right, hold on. She had to like push her aside and come in there and do damage control.
Well, another thing that Trump came out with in that same whole executive order spree, that he was signing all these executive orders that it's a death penalty now if you kill somebody in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, they're going after. Trump's not messing around. He's going all in.
So it's going to make it hard to do the Seth Riches, I guess, going forward.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see that they're cracking down on all the crime. But yeah, they want to expose all of this and show everyone how bad it's actually been. And the CRS is the one who's been covering up all the crime rates in order to have race relations be, acceptable, and not have people actually be pissed off about everything that's been happening for the last 60 years since the civil rights, since they signed the civil rights into, or whatever, since they've signed civil rights into law, that it's just been a disaster. And the crime rates have gone out of control. They're way worse than they were before the civil rights. The crime rates now are absolutely atrocious compared to what they were before. And yeah, they've been covering it up. The CRS is the one who's covering it all up. We'll see how they're going to expose this. But I mean, they're in with the FBI. There was a whistleblower that came out of the FBI saying that the FBI was manipulating crime statistics. They're all doing it, even at all the local. Whenever I have posts, whenever there's crime related to anything, and I mention statistics, in my comment section, there'll be all these people who are posting, look, they're putting blacks into the system as white. They're putting blacks in the system as white. They're putting Asians in the system as white. And this is because of CRS. And they're doing it all across the country. I mean, when I was shocked to see so many different cities across the country are doing this. I'm like, how the hell is this possible that they're doing this in all cities across the country? It's not just a couple cities. They're doing it all over the country. What is the common denominator? It's the CRS. The CRS is the common denominator to make that happen. Overwatch, go ahead. Rush, I threw your co-host.
Yeah. So my question is, as it stands now, with Harmeet Dillon's interview, and Stephen, this stuff with Trump that was just revealed. So what should we just go ahead and push this out as a group? Should we push it out to Stephen Miller and say, hey man, we're going to push this out, this is going to break, do you want to be ahead of it or behind it, or what's the best approach? Or should we just push it out like we normally do and let them catch up?
Well, I'm not going to them on anything. We're just gonna pump it out there. We're gonna expose it. I'm sure Twitter, you go on other spaces, start putting it on blast everywhere. This is the biggest problem that we're facing, and everybody's been confused for a long time. Like, how is this happening? What is the centralized mechanism that they're using in order to do this everywhere? Like, this is everywhere. And it's the CRS. the CRS and the DOJ are the ones 100% responsible for controlling the media. They're controlling even what, like Austin Metcalf's family, for example, they were controlling what they were saying while they were on the interview with Kane. So Kane has a mainstream media, this guy's mainstream media, and he's interviewing them. And in the middle of the interview, Kane asks about the father, and he says, "Oh, I can hear somebody behind the camera. Is that the father?" And the mother says, "No, that's the government official." And that's the CRS that was there controlling her and making sure she didn't say, and the brother's sitting there telling the mom, shh, shh, like don't say that. So yeah, they've been exposed and they control. That's why you see all these parents come out and within like 24 hours they're like, "Oh, I forgive them. I forgive them. I forgive the guy who just murdered my child." Like, really? Really? But the CRS goes in there and they manipulate these people while they're grieving. They just had their son murdered in cold blood, and they're telling them what to say. It's the government, it's the DOJ, it's the CRS. And then they roll it out and then they try to hide it. And then how do you think Austin Metcalf's murderer, how do you think he was able to move from Florida to Louisiana? This is a DOJ. This is CRS. They're the ones that are behind all that. They're the ones that are making that happen. So, yeah, they don't want the people in the local area to start being pissed off about race relations because they're trying to flood Texas with as many of these invaders as they possibly can. And the CRS is helping to invade the country as well. And they're connected with of course, the central bankers and all the rest of them that are pushing this agenda. And again, I posted the document from the UN that outlines their intention to replace us through replacement migration. So yeah, they're the CRS is the main apparatus that they use to control the media, control the police, again, lawyers, judges, victim statements, statements of the families who have been wronged or their child was murdered, and then the CRS comes in and tells them what they can and can't say on the media. And yeah, it's just they've controlled. That's why everyone says this. It's just a show. You hear that all the time from people. Oh, this is just a show. This whole thing, it's all scripted. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just a show, and it's all scripted. And it's all scripted and the show of the CRS. Nothing is real. They're manipulating everything across the board and only allowing you to see what they want you to see and demonizing white people who are the least violent in the country to protect the blacks who are the most violent in the country. And the same thing with all this invasion of the country. So, but yeah, Twiddler, go ahead.
Oh no, just to your point, I need to look it up, but that interview with the mom, where you say that she's looking off at the government guy, did that happen before or after the father went to the I forget the guy's name who did the murder, but they went to his father. They were all speaking, and then he got dragged out. Did that happen before or after that? And then I have another topic.
I don't know, but I'll put up the clip. I'll put up the clip right now that I'm talking about on Kane. It was on Fox News that this happened.
I only ask just because like CRS's involvement, maybe the mother is the more one that they were speaking with, and the father just didn't agree, so he's found his way over to the why can't I think of his name? He's a basketball player. Carmelo Anthony. There you go. Like his parents were doing that speech thing and talking about what happened, and Austin Metcalf's dad showed up, and there was just a whole chaotic scene. But anyway, I did want to speak on just back on the National Guard stuff in DC and where that's going. Like all the residents of Chicago are even saying like, all right, bring in the National Guard. Like I'm sick of this. Trump yesterday came out and said, talking about Illinois Governor Pritzker, where he said, he didn't say, he demanded Trump to stay out or keep the National Guard out of Chicago. And Trump's just like, I have the right to do anything I want to do. I'm the president of the United States. There's a reason they're only in the Republican states first. Those guys are willing to work with people and actually get things done. The ones that are really fighting back are these Democratic-run cities. And then we just see it. I mean, not Chicago. Yeah, Chicago, California. Newsom's basically trying to do that gerrymandering thing, and now he's getting in trouble for basically doing what the people don't want. But like I've been watching tons of videos. Like there's a ton of people that are native Chicagoans that are like, yeah, we want the National Guard here. There's a reason we call this place Chirac. There's a reason we want our stuff cleaned up. So I'm trying to white pill you guys. I'm hoping it ain't some more nefarious thing that they're trying to do. I don't see it. I've lived out here for a long time, and I do frequent DC quite a bit, and it is now. I don't see it being a thing. If anything, I do see a lot of pushback from the people that are just the weird protesters and Antifa types and all that stuff. If it does flow into cities like Seattle or Chicago or LA, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really do think it's going to be a sweeping clean, because these cities are going to want their money and their budgets, because it's all being threatened. But yeah, just watching these videos, these people do not, they're tired of it. Even the own residents are sick of it, all of them. And yeah, I'll leave it there. I don't know if we want to jump onto a different topic. I saw the one up in the Jumbotron earlier about all the CEOs of those major corporations owned by India now. And I also wanted to talk about how... Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Before we jump over, I put that clip of Austin Metcalf's mother on the interview, and if you look at like the 55-second mark is where he starts asking, like, the dad, I saw the interview with him, and the mother starts saying it, and the brother saying, shh. Like, you can see that she's gonna tell him who's behind the camera, and it's the CRS, and she's, anyways, he basically exposed the CRS being there on national television on Fox News. So that's a clip if you wanna reference it. I sent it to you in the DMs. But yeah, they've been running, and the thing is, Trump knows this whole immigration plan, and Trump is actually breaking it. And the immigration plan is through the central banks, and he's taking out the central banks. And that post I have up there in the jumbo, Trump just got rid of. Here, I'll put it up there so you guys can see it. So Trump just fired the Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook from her position. He's gone after Bolton. He's going after all these people that are connected with the Federal Reserve. He's going after Powell. We know that. We talked about it countless times on here. But yeah, Trump is gutting that whole apparatus that they've used to invade the West. That's why he keeps going over to Europe and telling them, you need to kick all these people the hell out of Europe. Trump has a different plan in order to end all this nonsense. His new, Bassett, was up there, and he was saying like, yeah, Trump told me the numbers, he lambasted me for it, and of course, Trump was right, and the numbers are higher than what I had said. We're looking at wiping out $4 trillion in the next 10 years just from where we're at right now. And then he goes on to mention it's going to increase, and he talks about a couple other things. But again, let me put it, the story of the central banks, I mean, that's pretty damning. It's up there in the jumbotron. And again, I'll just say for everybody that just walked in, the central banks just basically admitted at Jackson Hole that they're responsible for the mass invasion of our country. And she gives a whole breakdown, and she does a good job. I have it in the comment section too if you want to see her longer, but it's like 10 minutes. And she goes in about how Trump is going to basically gut all the central banking. And it's up there too. He just fired. He just fired the governor, the Federal Reserve Governor, Lisa Cook. He's been going at Powell. That's why he went after John Bolton. John Bolton's connected with the central banks and their endless wars. That's another big play. But essentially, Trump is going in and destroying the entire apparatus that has invaded our country and all of the West. And I do think that when those European leaders came to Washington, D.C., Trump basically let them know this is what's happening. We're not going to allow these central banks to completely destroy the West for their own gain. We have a better plan that guts them out completely and a way to take care of this. So that's very it's hopeful. I'm hopeful on this, that Trump has seen this entire thing. He knows how they operate. He knows what they're doing, and he's countering everything that they're doing. Piece by piece, one by one, he's firing them all off. He's going to get rid of them. Jerome Powell caved the other day from Trump's pressure. It's going in the right direction, and the central banks are in deep shit, essentially. Their whole plan of just keep invading us endlessly and creating endless wars so that they can profit to kingdom come, that's over. Those days are over, and John Bolton's connected to that. The Federal Reserves, all the central banks across the entire planet are connected with that. All the endless wars are connected with that. And that's why when Trump says he's going to end all the wars, that's what he's talking about. He's going to end all these stupid wars that are not a benefit to the United States. They're only a benefit to the central banks. And you've heard it countless times that the only reason why they want to go after Iran is because they don't have the central bank. That's why they went after Libya, because they didn't have the central bank. Or whatever, the list goes on. They went after Saddam Hussein because he didn't have the central bank. And they've used our military to go around and put these central banks in everywhere while they invaded us to destroy us. And they were the ones who profited in that. So, yeah, Trump is waging war on the central banks, and they're the ones that are responsible for pushing all this mass immigration onto us. And we all know who owns and runs the banks, right? That's not rocket science anymore. Everybody knows it. But yeah, it's great to see that. And this Mrs. Boyd, who is in the clip up there, she has a good account on here, and it's in the comment section of that post. And she's been going in. She gives the full breakdown of John Bolton, of why he was targeted and why they went after him, because he's connected with all this. She goes into the central banks and how they admitted to being the ones who've been invading all of our countries. They're the mastermind behind all of that forcing it onto everybody. That's why everybody's central bank that's why everyone's borders in the entire West opened at the same time. Ours opened in 1965. Canada's, I think, 1967. And you can just go across the entire Western world. They all opened up at the exact same time because of the bankers, the central banks. And yeah, they admitted it. And she has all the receipts there. So that's a big piece to the puzzle with proof. So we've all known this. We've all had our suspicions. We've all known that they've been behind all this. We know that all wars are banker wars and things like that, but we haven't really had the actual proof and documentation, and here it is. She's collected all of it. And, she mentions in this clip, like, oh, everyone was saying this was just some trope on the internet, that all these guys were claiming that they were being replaced and they were being invaded, and they just made it seem like some white right-wing extreme position of people just making up fairy tales. And she says, no, it's true. They were right. All those people who were saying all those things, they were 100% correct, and they just admitted to it. And here it is. Here's all the evidence. So, and the fact that we've seen Trump going at Powell since before he even got into office, he's on a rampage to rip the Federal Reserve into pieces. He's already going in and removing people. He's removing the bad actors like John Bolton. So, more to come. Tulsi Gabbard just announced she's going to be releasing a bunch of information about the 2020 election that will also be very helpful. Because again, we didn't vote for this. We didn't vote to be invaded. We didn't vote for Biden. Biden stole the election and invaded us with 30 million illegals. Nobody voted for that. That's tyranny. But yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. Trump just needs to get his head out of his ass with the whole Chinese invasion through our universities. That's a big deal. Just here in Michigan alone, we've had 3 bioweapons imported from the Chinese students at universities, and their intent was to bring them into the labs, the university labs, and weaponize the bioweapons so they could release them onto our crops in the United States.
General Delutnik is one who is very dangerous. He's the one who's selling America. He's a salesman and he's a Jew. So he's always in the ears with Trump. He's one of the bad people in Trump administration.
Yeah, Lutnick is trash. I mean, the only reason why Lutnick was in there to begin with, he's supposed to be going after China. And now he's getting involved, claiming that he's going after the H-1B, and trying to take away from this whole basically war that the American people are waging against Trump on these 600,000 student visas. And the crazy thing is, Trump previously stated that it was going to be 500,000. Now he says 600,000. Like, wait, what the hell? If they're worried about birth rates, China's fertility rate is 1. Our fertility rate in the United States is 1.78. So if they were so worried about birth rates, why the hell are they sending Chinese all over the place? They should be sending them all back to China, telling them to have kids. They're obviously not worried about birth rates. That's not the reason they're flooding us in.
Could hit the like button while we got a lull.
Can they stay after that university to work in United States, or they will go back?
I think if you're not a citizen, it's like an X amount of time. I'm not 100% sure though. I know in Canada, I looked into going up there like years ago, and then you had to either have a job on hand ready to go, or that's what's weird about Canada. And they have all this influx of migration, but yet like they want like doctors and workers they don't have to fill these positions to come in like from the United States, for example. But like they allow this influx in their country. The whole shit's wild. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to speak on. I think it was Jerome Powell. The rate cuts. Yeah. So this lady that he fired like in 2020, she was like all over social media and making videos calling Trump a fascist, whatnot. But gets arrested for mortgage fraud. I'm just curious as to if Trump may go after the vice president next, or just kind of wait for Jerome Powell to kind of cave and get off his Trump derangement syndrome and drop the rates to like 1.25% after we get all these people out. He's literally he's kind of digging himself a hole. Like he's gonna get in some trouble here because they're literally not only are they investigating the Reserve's governor for mortgage fraud, but he's implicated too, because I guarantee you he knew it, and Trump will just go after him for that too. We're talking like this guy's literally misused like $2.5 billion worth of funds. Powell has like that's not something to shake a stick at. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and he's doing it to renovate the building. I mean, shit, you can build a whole damn new building for that kind of money. I mean, I don't know what kind of money laundering they got going on over there, but Trump is waging war on the Federal Reserve, and that's pretty obvious at this point. If you can't see that, then you're blind, because he's been at Pollard's neck, he's been at the board's neck, he's gone hard at all of them repeatedly for 8 months now. He was going at him hard before he even got into office. After he was elected and he had won the election, one of the first things he started doing was going at Pollard constantly. So yeah, he's not going to let up, and he's absolutely going after all of these all the central banks across the world. One of the first executive orders he signed was to end the world digital currency. So he's not playing around. Then he went to the WEF and he got up on stage and just started talking smack left, right, and center about all of them. I mean, he called out Bank. One of the best clips was when he called out Bank of America, and that I can't remember who was there specifically from the Bank of America, but the look on the guy's face, he turned all red, and he just said, "No, we don't do that," and yeah, they do with the debanking. And Trump just signed an executive order 2-3 weeks ago about debanking. They can't debank people anymore. He's going at them. He also said that their interest rates on credit cards are out of control, and they can't have more than 10%. So I think Trump has something in the works for that, so that credit cards in the United States, because like most of the credit cards are 30% or in that range somewhere, give or take a couple points. But Trump it says he's going to cap them at 10%. Yeah, he's been just waging war on these banks. He does not like the banks. Trump must have had some really bad dealings with banks over the years, because he absolutely hates bankers. But Am Free, go ahead. What do you got?
I don't know, last time I tried to talk, the whole fucking space went down, so I'm just gonna hold for a minute and make sure, okay, before I start a rant and look down at my phone and go, oh, the space crashed. two things, right? Like, I popped in the purple pill, the org chart for the federal government. And this is one of the first times I've always been aware all the way back to loose change and the Federal Reserve and all this jokerish stuff. But the fact that they're coming, that document's even out, and that they're saying that the executive branch of the U.S. government controls the Federal Reserve System is a huge thing. They've been operating privately, right? We all know that, for their own benefit, not the benefit of our country. And I agree entirely that that is the root of a lot of the issues in our country. And I just say, everybody say a prayer, because the last two presidents that went after that group were Lincoln and Kennedy, and we all know what happened to them. As far as the 600,000 Chinese...
Hang on. Don't forget McKinley. Don't forget McKinley.
Yeah, I suppose there's that too, the Jekyll Island, like all of that, the whole scam. I mean, you could say the Titanic as well, right? It's definitely movement in the right direction. We all want it to go faster, I guess. And then every one of these university students is a spy. Like, hello. We all are aware of that. They're not just invaders. They're here to steal IP. There was just a guy yesterday in Houston in a university who was arrested for espionage. That is their network. That is how they infiltrate. And it's a great cover, right? Oh, I'm a student. Oh, that's why I'm working on nuclear whatever research, right? I mean, all China has ever done, ever since Nixon, is steal our thought and intellectual property and turn it around. Entire companies, Huawei, half of the global internet uses their equipment. That was all originally stolen from Cisco Systems and from Hewlett Packard and Silicon Valley over the years, and been developed into their own. So I'll leave it there. Hey, I didn't kill the space.
You're good. I just want to add about President McKinley and Trump. He renamed Denali to McKinley. McKinley was big on tariffs. He was the big tariffs man. And the central banks, that whole banking cartel, wanted to get rid of the tariffs and implement an income tax. And he wouldn't do it, so they assassinated him for it. So President McKinley, he gave his life to protect the American people. And, 13 years, 12 years after they assassinated him, they finally got what they were after with the Federal Reserve and the income tax, get rid of the tariffs. And that's the thing. Trump, you guys, if anyone can pull the clip of Trump, there's a bunch of them, of Trump saying the golden age of the United States was between 1870 and 1913. Trump has repeated this at many of his campaign rallies while he was running for president. And the reason for that being is in 1913, they got their Federal Reserve. And that's when all hell, when the whole country went to hell. So Trump is very well aware of the Federal Reserve and what they are and who they are. Then he's going to war with them. And so Trump, the last guy who went after tariffs, McKinley, he was assassinated. The last guy who went after the whole immigration issue, he was also assassinated, JFK. And that whole cartel, the banking cartel, he wanted to implement silver-backed currency. They couldn't have that, so they assassinated him. And then they opened up our borders. And now the central banks are telling us, yes, we were the ones behind opening up all your borders, and we want to flood you to the end of the earth until there's nothing left of you, so that we can profit off of it. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're the ones that have been running all these wars all these years, profiting off those as well. So yeah, it's the bankers, it's the banking class, the banking cartels, the banking mafia, whatever you want to call these guys. The Jews, World Jewry, International Jew, I don't know, whatever. There's a million names for these guys. I had a good clip that I shared around on the Federal Reserve. I'll post it again because it's extremely important for people to understand what the Federal Reserve is and then what happened to the United States after we went off the gold standard. Like, these guys have just been chopping up America piece by piece, bit by bit, to destroy our wages, our labor, to profit off of our labor, and turn us into a slave class. And people are pissed now, and people are starting to get educated on this topic. It's important.
So one of the times I went down the rabbit hole, the whole word jewelry that women wear